Hey everybody, it's Matt Powers. I'm an author, seed saver, gardener, and family guy, and I teach people all over the world how to live more regeneratively. And one of the things I teach is Earthworks. So I get tons of questions because most people only taught a small fraction of Earthworks and how to adapt those Earthworks. So I end up having to break up a lot of myths and misunderstandings so that I help people really open up their minds to what is possible with Earthworks. So right now, I'm working on a garden terrace, the tail end of a garden terrace actually, and below it is a swale. But the swale is my guiding contour line for my terrace. So my terrace is not on contour. It's based off that, and so it looks elegant because it matches. And you're like, oh, but things aren't on contour. And it's like, yeah, but if you understand that, and then you start compensating and building with that understanding, there's plenty of fun, cool little things you can do because of that fact. And so diving into the complexity and not, making everything flat and making swale stubs everywhere, which can be really annoying and a waste of land and energy, and also just not be functionally good. So something I was doing yesterday, someone told me, they were like, man, what are you doing with the turf? And I was like, oh, well, we always flip it, but the reality is that it condenses as it breaks down. So I've been putting it on the lower part of the berm. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. And so right here, you can see this. This is all clumps of grass. The roots are exposed. It's upside down. Oh yeah, and then down there you can see the swale. So that is the swale. And then you can see also the garden terrace. So this is the garden terrace above it, and it's equidistant all the way across. And now we're back over here where we are building the finishing part. So the idea is that path is going to come down and it's going to go up here, and you're going to pop out. So this is actually a road right here, and it could you'd be able to bring your wheelbarrow. You're down here, come on. You'd be able to take your wheelbarrow and you'll be able to go in and out here and just go on these really nice and close to contour areas into areas that are on contour. And it's how you treat the difference between your areas that are on contour and not on contour. And also notice there are no fences here. We have bear, we have deer, we have bobcats. We've got tons of, cute little rabbits that eat everything. We've got chickens and ducks. We've got animals, you know what I mean? And I don't have fences because there's so many ways to deal elegantly with animals. So I just wanted to talk really quick though about the turf. So let me make sure you guys can see the ground as I'm working here. All right, there we go. And so I want to make sure you guys see. So what I'm doing is I'm removing the turf with this grub hoe, and there are other names for this kind of hoe. But what I'm doing is I'm chopping the roots back, severing the roots, rolling it essentially down the hill, and I'm making these biomass decomposition events happen at the base. Right, and there's actually grass underneath this, and then at the edge holding it together, because the last thing you want is erosion. Grass is great at stopping erosion, so I don't want to rip up the hill and unzip it all the way. I want to carefully cut it, and then I want to overlay the part, design it so that I have a really good trough for roots that'll go down deep. And then on this side of decomposition, so there's going to be decomposition happening here, a strip of grasses that will hold it all together, so I don't get the erosion. So I got told people are carting this away, this beautiful biomass. They're carting away and throwing away when they could just be elegantly using in place. And yeah, it breaks down and it shrinks in size, but why would you remove this? I don't get that. So they asked me to show what I'm doing. Some of it's stubborn, some of it you kind of have to get in there and just take it out yourself with your hands. But this is how it's done. And while it can look a little hard and time consuming, have a few friends over, do a little bit every morning, and you end up pretty soon with a gigantic garden. And I know this because I've done this over and over again everywhere I've lived. I've repeatedly just worked and worked in bits because I never had the time to really just dedicate to just working in the garden. Even today, you know, I have all these obligations to my students, to the books I write. In the past, year, I've doubled the amount of books I've published just because the demand is so high for high quality, peer-reviewed curriculum. And actually that's part of why on my website right now, it's 50% off all my courses and there's huge discounts on all my books. So if you're looking for a good deal, that's going on right now for the next day and 12 hours. So if you want, and then my books are free too on my website. Not all of them, but the two main ones are. Get you started if that's what you need. So this is just what it takes to just get started, and then you would draw this down right here, and you would be drawing this down over here, so that once this, I would take this down 3 feet further, and then I would start bringing this down, and oh boy, this is harder to do. So what you do is you switch to the Metacreature Broadfork and start breaking it up. So, have you all used one of these? This is the Metacreature Broadfork, and it's the kind of tool that everyone should own. It's one piece, and they're designed to last forever. They're amazing. So, let's just see what we can do now. So we dig in with this. So just wiggling it back and forth with this allows you to actually, sorry, alarm. You just apply your weight and you kind of wiggle around the stones and you go deeper and deeper and deeper. If you hit a big rock, you can actually re-angle it and go around it, nudge it out of the way, and then when you come up with a huge stone. And that's why my paths are all lined with rocks, because that's how you find big rocks. From right there. So you do this up and down, and you're aerating the soil, you're making it so the roots can go super deep. But this is also a great way to just get an area really loosened so you can dig it easily. Because some people's soils are just so rocky. You know, this and a pickaxe and a grub hoe get you through almost anything. So I just do this and get to until I can get the tines basically almost all the way in, and then do it again. And you just make your way up the hill or down the hill doing this, and very soon you can just dig it right out. And sometimes you might find a soft side. See how I'm going to one side? You just switch your foot up to the other side, and it'll start evening it out on its own. You just wiggle, 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 and you just find a path. So with turf, compacted soils, you know, the crazy thing about this is this soil is like mostly pebbles and rocks, and there's a huge drainage pipe here that doesn't make any sense. Oh, here, let me adjust this. Yeah, so we have rocky soil. It's hard to dig, but the rocks are gonna allow for us in this cold temperate climate to extend the growing season and start the growing season earlier. So what I'm doing is I'm using thermal mass. So let me flip that around, you guys can check that out. Elegantly we turn around. All right, but yeah, see right here I'm using the rocks and the stones, and I'm gonna be doing it down there, and then I'm going to be putting wood chips down here. This actually is gonna come out to like here as I cut in and then angle up and match. The whole area behind me is actually, the landowner was telling me, this is all deposition. So all of this actually is in front of a retaining wall, and we're gonna dig this out so that thermal mass from the retaining wall is exposed, and we're gonna plant in front of it. This is just phase one. The garden terrace. In between them, you can see them starting out there. Cat, get out of there. And then you can see them more mature here. So we have a whole series of these in the clumps, and as you can see, the clumps are gone now. So the clumps are actually being grown in. You can see that there. So the reality is, these earthworks, you know, are extremely beneficial, and if you treat them right, they are not erosive at all. In fact, they'll slow things down, and they'll also be greater soil production areas. Because the reality is, if you have plants that just are gonna go once and then die, they're not photosynthesizing the whole summer. So when you cut those plants back and they come back and they re-green again, they photosynthesized again. So you have to really think strategically about this, because if you really want to build soil, if you really want to, you know, sequester carbon, you need to think all season. You need to be thinking about how to treat your plants in such a way that they are constantly sequestering carbon, even your seed producing plants. I mean, we really can do this. I've got C4 grasses mixed in all over the place because of that, because I know what will happen. So I'm really excited, you guys, about the success. You know, I mean, the crazy thing is, this is just going wild. Actually, let me show you something. You want to see something really wild? Really quick. I know you guys have to go dig your own swales and garden terraces, but check out this. Check out this. Oh, it's a purple top Milan turnip, right? Check that out. That's a pretty big turnip. We've got a lot of awesome plants here in the perennial zone, and some of them are annuals that just decided to show up and surprise us. But this is going to be just an absolute riot of food. I hope that everyone can kind of have this going on, and that's why, you know, I'm finishing up this right here so that we have this terrace, you know, that continues on, matching the elegance of this, going up here and popping out there, and then having it go down here so you can get in and out here. And then I'm using rocks at the entrances as spillways, but do deer like walking in this? Loose, dangerous stuff for their feet. Oh no, deer, don't go there. Well, what they're gonna do is, it's hard to get in, and then when you get in, it's flat, and it's going to be really tall. Sorry about that with the camera. It's gonna be really tall, so they're going to feel really vulnerable as usual, and we're gonna end up with a situation just like all my gardens, where we don't need a fence. So this is where I'm at. I'm about to finish up, the phase 1 of the new garden in Pacific Northwest. We've only been working on this for a couple of months, and we've already got, so much food growing that it's just absolutely exciting. And this just goes to show what's really possible. So if you're really into this stuff, if you're serious about permaculture, please check out the Advanced Permaculture Studio online. It's half off for the next day and a half only. This is a flash sale. Everyone's got to get into this course. The information in this course is life-changing. The information in this course is like no other course. So I'll leave it at that. You guys should go check it out. We've got over 70 experts. This kind of stuff is just so easy once you understand how the world works. So I hope that you join us. Check out my books. They're all huge discounts right now. thepermaculturestudent.com. Oh, thanks, Chris. Yeah, the garden is just kicking butt. I love the Pacific Northwest. In fact, I think it's way easier to grow like a total abundance up here in the cold temperate than in 140-degree soils. Is that surprising to everyone? Is that surprising that growing in the desert, and was a little bit harder? But yeah, no, I'm just loving it. I'm absolutely having so much fun. And it's really fun because I'm in the climate that almost everyone else is in. And, people have gardens all over the world in the cold temperate, and they all say the same exact thing. Gardening's hard as people in the desert. And I'm like, I don't know, gardening seems pretty darn easy to me. So let's get out there and start growing abundance and show everyone what's possible, and start spreading that abundance, start sharing our produce. I have enough for lemon cucumbers that I'm done. You need some, come on over. All right, guys, enjoy the abundance, enjoy your day, and start building those earthworks that you've been meaning to, because they won't build themselves, and the second you put it in, it's there. It's not going anywhere, especially if you design it right. So have an amazing, amazing day. I'm Matt Powers. Grow abundantly, learn daily, and live regeneratively. Have a great one, guys.